Good morning, guys. So, it's Wednesday. It's time for chapel. You can hear my neighbor friends out playing on their scooters. They didn't even come over and join us for chapel this morning. And so I wanted to share with you for chapel today. I'm still talking about David. Good morning, buddy. In the book of 1 Samuel chapter 25. And today's devotion is on the Peacemaker. So I hope you're all doing well as we come together for chapel. Do you want to come and join me? Okay, you can come sit right here if you want. You want to say hello to everybody? Say hello to everybody.
Hey.
So, our lesson today is the Peacemaker from 1 Samuel chapter 25. It says, here's our devotion, so turn on your listening ears. Abigail wasted no time in thinking of a plan to stop David and his men from killing her husband, Nabal. She took 200 loaves of bread, some wine, 5 sheep, grain, cakes of raisins, and figs. She loaded everything on donkeys and told her servants to go on ahead. She didn't tell Nabal that she was going out to meet David. When Abigail saw David coming, she bowed down with her face to the ground. "My master," she said, "let me take the blame for what has happened and do not pay attention to what Nabal said." Because remember, in our last devotion, David had asked for some food for his army and he had said no, and David had been good to him, so David was not happy. So now Abigail has gone out to make peace. So she said, "Don't pay attention to what Nabal said. The Lord will make you king because you are fighting his battles. Please take this present and do not take Nabal's life. And when the Lord has made you king of Israel, you won't have to feel guilty for having taken someone's life unnecessarily." Then David said, "Praise the Lord who sent you to me today. Thank you for your good sense and for keeping me from taking revenge." So the question from this devotional is, how can I end a quarrel between my friends? How can I be the peacemaker? Don't you like it when things are more at peace and when people are not fussing and fighting? I mean, I'd rather things be at peace, and I feel like everybody else had too. So here are some things. How does one stop a fight or a quarrel in a fair way? Abigail knew that unless she did something, someone was going to get hurt. And sometimes we have to be that person. Sometimes we have to be like Abigail and say, hey, hold on, don't fight. Don't listen to what he said. Take this gift, take this peace offering, and let's figure out how to come to a solution. Let's see what she did to bring peace to an ugly situation. First, she didn't take sides. So don't take sides. Remain neutral. Because you know what happens when you take sides? Well, he said this and she said this, and then you get all up in the middle with your opinions, and that just makes things worse. That's not good. So she didn't take sides. Although Abigail was married to Nabal, she tried to understand how David felt. Remember, I said that the other day. Always try to think of how both sides feel in a situation. Think of how both parties are feeling and remain neutral if you're going to be the peacemaker. She made an effort. Don't just think about it, do something, right? She made an effort. She gave him her own food. She worked out a clever plan, and she used her servants. And it tells us that in 1 Samuel 25, verses 18 and 19. You can read that whole passage. I encourage you to, so you can see the whole story, not just the summary of what we're doing. She took a risk. You think it was risky what she did? Going to David and saying, "Hey, hold on just a second. I want to try to help make things right." She took a risk because she could have made her husband mad for getting in the middle, right? And David could have said, "I'm not listening to you," and could have killed her, right? Or just been angry with her even. And so she took a risk. She put herself between Nabal and David. And then she helped David see the bigger picture. Abigail convinced him not to do something that he would regret later. You know, because sometimes when people are in the midst of a quarrel or there's a situation going on, it's hard for us to see the big picture, isn't it? We can only see what our feelings are at the moment, or we can only see anger when we're angry, right? She helped him see the big picture. And I think that's what God means when he says, be slow to anger, be slow to speak, listen and think, right? Think about the whole picture. What's going to be the big impact of the choice that you're making? Are you making a choice that's going to affect only you, or is it going to affect other people? Is it going to affect just this minute, or is it going to affect your future? And that's what Abigail said to David, don't do this, because it's going to put you in a bad situation when you become the king, because then this is going to be following you around, right? The burden of that, the guilt of that is going to be on your shoulders. So think about the big picture, David. And that's what I encourage you today. Think about the big picture. Whatever situation you're dealing with right now. Kids, maybe it's mom and dad arguing, or maybe they're going through divorce, or maybe dad's deploying, or maybe you got a grandparent that's sick, or maybe some friends are just not being kind to you. What's the big picture in the choice that you make? How can you be the peacemaker? Might take some risk, right? But be the peacemaker. And then adults, let's think about how the choices we make are going to affect the situation. Maybe, hey buddy, maybe it's mom and dad. Maybe you've had a argument this morning. Maybe things are just not the way they should be. How can you go the extra mile to be the peacemaker? Because listen, you fell in love, so where's the spark that you originally had? Find it, get it back, and be the peacemaker. You know, I once had an older man tell me, and kids, this will be beneficial for you when you get older and get married. He said, marriage is never 50-50. It's 75-25 on both parts all the time. So go the extra mile. Give it your extra. Be the one that takes the risk to be the peacemaker. Do what you got to do to make things right. And that can be in marriage, it can be in friendship, it can be in work relationships, kids, it can be with your friends at the pool even, or on the soccer field, or your siblings. How can you be the peacemaker? What can you do? Help them to see the big picture. And you think about the big picture. What's the impact going to be on the choice that I make? Who's impacted? Is it my future or just the right now? What can I do to bring peace to the situation? And then our verse for today is James 3:18. Peacemakers who sow in peace raise a harvest of righteousness. What does that mean? Peacemakers who sow in peace, peacemakers, the ones that choose to be the peacemakers, raise a harvest of righteousness, because we're doing what Jesus wants us to do. We're showing and helping to bring peace to a situation. Kind of like Jesus, right? Because it's our goal to be like Jesus. If we're a follower of Christ, hey buddy, if we're a follower of Christ, then we want to be like him, right? We want to reflect him in our actions and in our choices. So I encourage you in that today. If you are a follower of Christ, how can you be the peacemaker? How can you reflect Jesus in the choices that you make? So that's our devotion for today. Thanks for joining me for Chapel Time with Miss Kim, and I will see you guys on Friday morning. I hope you have a great week. Hey, and if you think about it, wish Mr. Stephen a happy birthday. Today's Mr. Stephen's birthday, and we're going to celebrate a little bit later after church tonight. But if you see him or if you have his number, you can text him or message him, wish him happy birthday. All right, guys, I love you. Kissing hands. There it is. Have a great day. And hey, let's go be united in the passionate pursuit of the next generation. Bye, guys. Love you.